You know, we've all seen them, those huge stacks of safety paperwork on a job site. But what if I told you that one of those documents, the job safety analysis, isn't just another chore? What if it's the single most powerful tool we have to prevent disaster? Well, let's find out why it's so much more than just paper. Okay, so here's a puzzle for you. Job sites are absolutely plastered with safety rules, warning signs, regulations, you name it. So why do accidents still happen? Right? It feels like a contradiction, but the answer is actually surprisingly simple. It turns out accidents almost never happen because of a lack of rules. They happen because of a lack of planning. I mean, you can have all the rules in the world, but if you don't have a structured way of thinking about the job, you end up with total chaos, just like this. And that right there leads us to the real heart of the problem, a very dangerous misunderstanding. The source material for this explainer just nails it. It says the JSA is frequently treated as a compliance document rather than an operational discipline. In other words, for a lot of people, it's not a tool you use, it's just a hurdle you have to clear. It just becomes this box-ticking exercise. You fill it out, you get the signature, you file it away, and then you get on with the real work. But that approach completely misses the point, and honestly, it creates a totally false sense of security. Okay, so let's flip this whole thing on its head. If that's what a JSA isn't, then what the heck is it? Well, it's a blueprint for competence. This is where the whole mindset shifts. See, a JSA isn't a document, it's a process. It's a system of structured thinking that literally forces a team to think through a task before anyone is put in harm's way. So think about it this way. A well-done JSA isn't just a form, it is physical proof of competent planning. It's evidence that you actually understand the task, you've thought about the risks, and you have a solid plan to control them. So how does this process actually work? It's not just guesswork. The JSA uses some really powerful systematic tools to analyze risk. Let's take a look at two of the most important ones. First up, we've got the hierarchy of hazard control. Now, think of this like a game plan, and it's ordered from the most effective solution down to the least. The goal isn't just to find any solution, it's to find the absolute best one, and you always start at the top. Can we get rid of the hazard completely? If not, can we substitute it with something safer? And you work your way down the pyramid. And here's a perfect example of substitution in action. On the left, you've got traditional dry sandblasting, which, as you know, creates a massive, dangerous dust cloud. But by substituting it with a modern wet abrasive system, you basically engineer that hazard right out of the job. It's just an inherently safer way to do the work. The second key tool is the risk matrix. Now, this is what helps you move safety from just a gut feeling to an actual objective measurement. By looking at the probability of something going wrong and multiplying it by how bad it could be, you get a clear risk score. It gives you a number that tells you exactly where you need to focus your attention. And here's what that looks like in practice. On the left, you can see the risk factors before any controls are put in place. Yikes, a lot of red and orange high-risk stuff. But after applying the plan from the JSA, look at the right. The risks have dropped dramatically into that low-risk green zone. That's what measurable safety looks like. So why does all this systematic thinking really matter? Well, because the consequences of getting it wrong are massive, and a lot of the time they're hidden. Let's take a look at the accident pyramid. For every one fatality you see at the very top, there are literally thousands of hazardous conditions and close calls happening down at the bottom. The whole point of the JSA process is to work at the base of this pyramid. By systematically catching and controlling those everyday hazards, you stop the catastrophic events at the top from ever happening in the first place. And then there's the accident iceberg. You know, the direct costs of an accident, the medical bills, the damaged equipment, that's just the tip. What's lurking below the surface are these huge hidden costs: project downtime, accident investigations, lost productivity, legal fees, you name it. Proactive planning with a JSA is what keeps your project from hitting this iceberg. So really, when you boil it all down, the JSA represents a fundamental shift in how we approach not just safety, but work itself. It's a move away from assumption-based safety, where you basically just cross your fingers and react to problems as they pop up, and a move toward evidence-based competence, where you use a structured process to plan for success and stop problems before they can even start.
Ultimately, this process forces everyone to just think. It helps you find hazards way ahead of time. It replaces risky, on-the-fly improvisation with a solid, thought-out plan. And it gives real substance to those daily safety briefings, so everyone knows not just what to do, but why they're doing it.
It really all comes down to this. When a JSA is used the right way, safety becomes planned, deliberate, and defensible before work starts. It's no longer something you just leave to chance. So I'll leave you with a final thought. This whole think first process isn't just for big construction sites. So what's one predictable risk, maybe in your own work or even your own life, that a little bit of structured planning could help prevent? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.